Here's my whole thing about about being in New York. You know, it's a pat phrase. It's easy. It covers me. I had already made a big move from New York to Manitoba, and then from Manitoba to I mean, from Jamaica to New York, from Jamaica to Canada, Canada to New York. I figured I've done my moving. I am as, you know, I'm as flexible as that. I will never leave New York, right? Not for a job. Obviously not for a husband because I haven't gotten one. I have no children, so I don't have to go for children or grandchildren. New York is it. You know, New York is my home. And, you know, it's almost as if once I decided to stay here in America, and to stay in New York. And after I'd settled that issue with homeland or here, it's settled and it's no other homeland. This is it. I did, you know, I don't know if every immigrant feels this way, every immigrant type feels this way, but I certainly know that many Jamaicans feel the tug consistently, okay? And I can't say I don't feel the tug anymore. But certainly in the 70s and even in the 80s, you feel the tug, okay? You may go home for something and, you know, you feel the pull to say, well, you know, there's some interesting things happening here. I wouldn't mind being a part of it. Sometimes people try to lay the guilt trip on you, you know, oh, you could make such a, you know, they're looking for just this kind of person at the university now. Why don't you come and try for it? So there's a little bit of seduction, if you will. You know, and then life could be so much easier. You could go back to having a nice house. You could go to the beach all the time. You could have, you know, back in the day, we had help in the house all the time. Like, you know, and everybody in Jamaica has it. So you don't have to be rich. You know, it's part of the economy. You know, you have a person who comes in and who clean. I mean, you know, you have a person, a permanent person who can help you do your cleaning and take care of the kids and so on. So life can be somewhat cocooned in some ways. You know, you still have to deal with the basic economics. So there is, you know, sometimes that tug, but I have not felt that tug in any significant way to stir me to try to, you know, relocate. I never deny my homeland. I try to go there as often as I can, but I consider New York my home. Everybody who is an immigrant, streets are paved with gold. Where's the gold on the streets? It's dirty, is what I saw. It was so dirty. I could never. And by the way, this is not, you know, it's just the size of everything. It's noisy. I mean, going into the subway was like scary to me. Walking downtown, going, you know, I mean, I loved going downtown and going to Radio City. I mean, these were the things that we did when we were just exploring, going to Radio City and seeing the Rockettes. You know, that was a phenomenal kind of thing. And then, as a new immigrant, you didn't want to seem like you were too new, too much of a greenhorn. So you wanted to take in everything, but you didn't want anybody looking at you as if anybody was seeing you in the millions of people on the street. So I would sort of peer up at the skyscrapers, you know, and make sure nobody was looking at me while I was looking up to see how high it was going. You know, it's that sort of awe. And, you know, you know, but of course, as kids, and we'd always had family visiting, you know, the shopping was a big deal. I mean, you could always get the best, nicest things, you know, the frilly clothes and so on. Those were some of the kinds of myths that we had. But, you know, they got stripped away pretty fast because, you know, once you got here and you got into the life, you could find the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, you know, clearly all of those got revealed to us.
Did you attempt to make any contact with the Jamaican community while you
Oh,
were here?
you don't have to attempt to. I mean, they find you and you find them. You find the parties, you find the social organizations. Carnival was not that big a deal for me. You know, the Labor Day parade, because that was a little bit out of our own culture, because that was more Trinidadian and Southern Caribbean. But there was definitely Caribbean flavor to New York, and there were definitely places you could go. There was the Jamaica Progressive League, which was a semi-social, semi-political group that did social things, did very much sometimes political things like hosting the prime minister and so on, or ministers of government who would come up to give you the state of Jamaica. But they also did sort of immigration kind of transition things, helping families adjust, helping with literacy, taking the GED and that sort of thing. And we were very much, myself and my sister were very much a part of that because, we were educated. So we were able to help. We were able to tutor, to teach, and that sort of thing.